Do you guys ever get complaints about your camper not being very stable? Even though this has got 6-point leveling, it does tend to move a little bit, especially this, because it's so far from the back stabilizer to the back of the camper. And do you happen to have one of these trailer hitches on the back that you wonder what you're going to do with it? You really can't, especially with this door, you can't put a bike rack in front of it. You really don't want to go hauling a trailer with it. So I'm going to make a easy to put together stabilizer to put on the back of this camper. It's real easy, real simple. You can go to the hardware store and pick up all the parts, and I'll show you how to do it. So I'm going to try to build this stabilizer. I went down to the local Lowe's and I bought 2 pieces of aluminum stock. Both of them are 3/4. I got 3/4 square stock, and then I got 3/4 channel, both about 8 feet long. It's just the right size for the 3/4 channel to accept the square stock, and then I can put it right together. So what I did is I went and measured dead center in the middle of the square stock. I measured dead center in the middle of the square stock. All I did was take my square and put my square on this thing so that I came up with a 45-degree angle. That 45-degree angle is going to give the space, the place where I want the two to meet, down on the angle, or on the square stock, the actual channel itself. So once I did that, I cut it in half, so I wind up with 2 pieces, and it made a perfect 45-degree angle for me to work with. A couple other things I did farther down, probably about 6 inches, 7 inches from the bottom, I went and put a couple of holes in here. So I needed something to be able to use to take my ratchet strap, which you'll see when I use it here in a few minutes, to have something to bind on. The other thing I did was up towards the top. I measured out, there again, there's the information on the square stock. I went and drilled 5/16 holes. I did all this with 5/16 bolts. I did one on each end, just about 2 inches down. What I did is I took it to the back and measured the ears on the trailer hitch where the safety chains go. You'll see how that works here in a minute. Then I went and took my channel and I found dead center in the channel. Not that it matters much, but I want to put this kind of right in the middle underneath my trailer hitch, so that when these go out, they don't dig into the dirt and get filled with dirt, and I get this great big long purchase for the stability of my camper. So I drilled those holes. These things will actually drop right through. I made these so they go down through. With this particular one, I made it so that I can actually thread this bolt, thread the bolt right down through, and that helps hold it in place. Just naturally threaded right in there, just like it goes right in. Goes all the way to the end. You can use any sort of size bolt. I like these longer ones because it was just easier for me to get more purchase with my ratchet strap. You'll see that in a minute. when you put these on, you want to make sure the biggest length of the bolt is actually on the inside. And you'll see why in a couple minutes, because it doesn't give you a chance to end up catching your ankle on it or whatever as you go by. So I would recommend that you take and file some of the spurs and stuff off the end of this, just so it doesn't catch on anything. This, the other ends are finished, so you don't have to worry about it. It's just mostly this end and anything else you happen to cut. Here we are back at the back of the trailer again. You can see the parts I've got laid out. I got my two arm pieces. I've got the base track already laid out. I have the bolts and the washers. I have my catch pieces in there for my ratchet strap. So now I'll show you how to put it on. Remember I said something about putting the middle lined up. What you want to do is get this pretty much directly underneath your hitch so that you can find the middle. That'll take care of that part. And then, simple enough, you take one of these, put it down there on this right here, so it lays right over the top of your hitch. It will drop right down into that track. Just press it down in place, just like that. Bring it up, put it right over that, just like that. You're set to go. The other side does the exact same thing. You take this piece here, line it up, put it right on top. It drops right in place. Now remember I said that you want those bolts facing in, and this is why. If any of you have ever used the trailer hitch, and some of the examples of this I've seen, they actually used the trailer hitch, mounted it to the trailer hitch, and then slid it in the back, which is nice. But if any of you are like me, anytime I had one on the truck, first thing I would do is walk across the back, especially with this here, and I would hit that with my shin, and that would be not anything I would enjoy. So that's why I want those two bolts facing in, so you can actually do that right there. So I'm using, these are actually carriage bolts, 5/16 carriage bolts, and they're fastening bolting right in. What I like about it is once I bolt this down, it makes it so easy to use because I can put that on there. It also comes right close to this, so it's right up against it. So it makes it a very, very solid connection. Same thing on this side. You just put the washer on. You just do it hand tight because you're just holding it in place, because when it gets its push, it's going to be right against this, and that's what's going to do all the work. So when you put your ratchet strap on, you just loop it over. That's why you want those bolts, something to pull against on both sides. You loop it over that, and it pulls it right down into that track. Now you're using the length of the track as your place to push up on them instead of digging into the ground. These end up pushing back against the trailer hitch itself. You haven't got to get nuts with this thing. Just get it so that it's pretty tight. You're not actually lifting the camper. All you're trying to do is hold it so it doesn't move side to side, which now I'm yanking on it pretty good and it's not moving. Will this fix the bounce through the whole camper? No, but this will definitely help when it comes to the bounce, or the usually the side to side motion you get here in the back. You obviously want to take it off of there before you actually do any leveling with the camper, but there's nothing here, and this is where I'm really trying to stress, there's nothing here for me to walk into. I can walk by this all day and never run into it, and that was the reason I did not want to use a hitch into the receiver, because for sure I would wreck my shins on that thing. But this is the very, very simple process to put a stabilizer on the back. I know that Moride is now offering one that slides in the back. There's a lot of different ways, but I just did not want to have anything that would go in there. All these light pieces just pick up, and I can put it right here in the back when I'm all done, and then we can move to the next site. This right now, I'm in a lot of sand, but as you know, you end up in all kinds of different places: gravel, dirt, concrete, you name it. And that's why I went with this track, because I think that's going to hold up very, very well. Hope you enjoyed this, and we'll let you know down the road how it works. So far, I've actually had it built for probably a couple of weeks now, and it seems to be working pretty good. Thanks for watching.